Another beautiful January evening in the Valley of the Sun, Phoenix, Arizona. And as we bring you inside GCU Arena, it feels like the lights have been on solid since early yesterday afternoon, pretty much because they have, because the Lopes women's basketball team kicked off a 4-game set between them and the men's basketball team. The women playing the first game yesterday afternoon, and then the men dispatching Bethesda not once last night, but twice this afternoon. And now we wind up the set with a grudge match and a revenge match as the Lopes, suffering only their second loss of the season yesterday in overtime, will try to avenge it here as they take on the Aggies of New Mexico State, the reigning WAC women's basketball champions. Good evening, everybody. Jim Howe welcoming you back to GCU Arena for the 4th time in the span of just 29 hours. And as I welcome my partner in crime, Jack O'Hara, to the microphones, this is something that the Lopes are trying to figure out just what happened, because things were going so well in non-conference play, winning 8 of the first 9, and then the offense somehow just got derailed.
Yeah, welcome to WAC play, am I right? I mean, an exciting matchup nonetheless yesterday between the Lopes and the Aggies, going back and forth, erasing not only a 9-point deficit, but an 8-point deficit as well. Taylor Caldwell breaking out 19 points, going 8 for 14 from the field, but like you were alluding to, Jim, free throw attempts, they missed their final 12 of 23, and that is not a recipe for success in the end. And the Aggies offense also recording 23 rebounds offensively, which is 9 more than the Lopes typically allow. So it'll be interesting to see how the Lopes rebound. Again, 24-hour difference here. It'll be interesting to see how they adapt and make those adjustments, looking to create more opportunities.
And what's been the bread and butter so far in the first 10 games for the Lopes? Transition defense, creating offense, and the effectiveness of Katie Scott. Yesterday, they pretty much went 0 for 2 in those categories.
And New Mexico State doing a great job containing Katie Scott, and at the same time, Katie Scott not really hitting some of those opportunities that she did have, as well as Laura Piera, nonetheless putting up 11 points on her own, but creating 6 turnovers offensively as well. Again, alluding to Taylor Caldwell really stepping up in a big way yesterday, leading to free basketball in those 5 quarters. But again, 24-hour turnaround for the Lopes. We'll see how they're able to once again adapt and make some changes, trying to create opportunities for themselves, trying to make defense into offense.
The Lopes lost by 8 in overtime, had a chance to win it at the end of regulation, but Tierra Brown's desperation shot with .4 on the clock just went awry. Taylor Caldwell actually scored the first 2 points of overtime with a nice driving layup, and then the wheels came off, and New Mexico State took over, scoring the next 10 points, and that's pretty much how it was done. So New Mexico State strikes first blood. We're going to find out whether or not the Lopes can salvage a split as we take a break, and when we come back, starting lineups and all the play-by-play. New Mexico State and GCU, the rivalry renewed right here at GCU Arena and right here on GCU TV.
Joel Embiid is unhappy.
Like, really unhappy.
Because the internet keeps using not-so-amazing GIFs to react to his amazing highlights. Mountain Dew presents the Joel Embiid Deserves Better Reactions GIF Collection.
Now I'm so happy.
When life seems uncertain, there's one credit union that provides both dollars and cents. Copper State Credit Union. With solutions that focus on our members, you can take advantage of competitive rates, free cashback checking, and local attentive service. Uplifting our community is a standard we live by. That's why thousands of your Arizona neighbors rely on us. Strengthening Arizona families through financial empowerment. That's Copper State Credit Union.
With Jack O'Hara, Jim Howe back here at GCU Arena for the second time in as many days for this WAC opening doubleheader between the arch rivals Grand Canyon and New Mexico State. And as we talked about yesterday, this is a road game for GCU. This matchup was originally supposed to be 2 weeks from now in Las Cruces, but because New Mexico State has basically been banned from playing games in New Mexico, they've been playing here in the Valley of the Sun for the last month, and the schedule's allowed, so GCU is the road team, and as we move to the starting lineups, that's why they are being introduced first. So here we go. Starting off, the Lopes coming in 8-2 overall, 0-1 in WAC play. They started off in the backcourt with Laura Pieta. Pieta, the 3-year starter at the point from Barcelona, Spain, a 5'9" junior. Joining her in the backcourt is the lady they call Nana, Naidacia Jackson, a 5'5" grad student by way of Oakland, California, also with stops at Youngstown State and Providence College. At the 3-guard spot, coming off a big 19-point performance yesterday, Taylor Caldwell. Caldwell, the redshirt sophomore out of Bakersfield, California, and a 5'9" swing person. At the forward spot, getting the start today in place of Kennedy Shorts, Tiara Brown. Brown, the freshman out of Spanaway, Washington, a 5'10" speedster and slasher. And joining her in the middle, the reigning 2-time WAC Player of the Week, Katie Scott. Scott coming off a 9-point performance in yesterday's game, and the pride of Carl Junction, Missouri, 6'2" freshman. Molly Miller in her first year as the head coach. Her assistant coaches, Emily Ragsdale, Buck Shield, and Carila Middlebrook. Now for New Mexico State, who are still the reigning WAC champions since there was no WAC tournament to be able to derail that last year. They come in with a record of 3-5 overall and 1-0 in WAC play. They'll start it off in the backcourt with Rodria Eccles. They call her Dee Dee, a 5'9" redshirt senior out of Memphis, Tennessee. She's joined by the leading scorer on this team on the season so far, Aaliyah Prince. She is also a redshirt senior, a 5'8" product who hails from San Antonio, Texas. At the 3-guard, Sophia Usaa, who was really a thorn in the side of the Lopes defense yesterday, a 5'7" sophomore, and she hails from Stockholm, Sweden. At the power forward spot is Amanda Soderquist, a 5'10" senior also from Sweden, hails from Luleå. And in the middle, Nana Sule, who got some big free throws and rebounds down the stretch, especially in overtime, 6 foot, a redshirt senior from Abuja in Nigeria. The head coach in her 4th year as the head coach and her 12th year as a member of the coaching staff in 2 different stints, Brooke Atkinson. Her assistant coaches are Aisha Stewart, Deandra Brown, and Ryan McAdams in his 4th year here after spending 7 years as the head coach in Safford here in Arizona at Eastern Arizona College. And the rebound, or the tap, is up, and Nana Jackson with a nice save. The Lopes have it, and they will move from right or left to right across your GCU TV screen, but now they change the call and say that Jackson stepped on the out-of-bounds line, so New Mexico State's going to get it to start off in their front court. Soderquist looking to inbound. She'll get it off for Dee Dee Eccles. Eccles really was slashing effectively to the hoop yesterday, and it bothered that interior Lopes defense. Here's Eccles firing up the first shot from 3-point range, won't go. Prince sneaks in, gets the rebound, but has it stolen away, and Jackson comes up with the theft. Here's Katie Scott. You know Molly Miller is going to want to get her involved early and often. Caldwell out front, gives it off for Tiara Brown. Low block Scott, immediate pass in the opposite corner for Jackson. 12 on the Lopes shot clock, straight away. Brown for 3, high off the back of the iron, not good. Rebound scramble out of bounds, and it will head New Mexico State's direction. So both teams coming up empty in their initial offensive set. Now the Lopes will start to press. And I'm sure that Molly Miller is hoping they will be a lot more effective at it and a lot more long-ranging than they were in the 45 minutes in yesterday's loss. Prince able to get it as she comes down the right side, now double-teamed, throws it cross-court in the corner. Open look for 3, but the shot off of Anusa's hands not good, and the Lopes doing a good job of boxing out underneath. Taylor Caldwell comes up with the defensive board. Laura Pieta waiting for the interior of Brown and Scott to get set as Scott comes out to get it high post. Caldwell waits for a screen, now decides to pass off for Brown. Sees daylight, starts left, spin right, 8-footer in the lane, won't go. Lopes 0 for 2 in the early going. Here comes Eccles down the right side. Off for Usaa. Usaa cut off by Caldwell. They swing it for Soderquist, who hands off for Prince. Prince knocked away at the free throw line, gets it back. Here's Usaa. Go to the elbow, out front for Prince. Prince with a leap and leaner from 15. That is partially blocked, but a whistle and a foul. And Naidacia will be whistled for the first personal foul of the night for either team.
And you look at the stain on the face of number 5, LP, throwing her hands up in the air. Didn't think that she called that one, but again, this is going to be New Mexico State's first opportunity, really, to put some points on the board again in these first 2 minutes or so. Both teams having a tough time converting, even though they've had their chances with some open shots.
Well, after coming off the bench in limited time her first 2 years, Kennedy Shorts starting all the games except tonight. She is coming off the bench tonight, checks in, the 6'1" junior for the Lopes out of Long Beach, California. And Aaliyah Prince goes to the line for a pair, misses the front half, but is able to finally break the scoreless tie a minute 44 in as she makes 1 of 2. Prince with the defensive assignment on Naidacia. She takes it down the right side, and on the pass off inside away from the ball, a holding foul on the Aggies. It'll be a non-shooting foul. That's on Soderquist, who was battling inside with Kennedy Shorts. Pieta with a fresh 22 on the shot clock. They don't reset it when it's outside of 20 seconds. She inbounds to Shorts, now back to Pieta. Pieta go to the baseline. Cross court for Tiara Brown. Was thinking drive before she had the ball in her hands. Fumbles, gets it back. Give it to Jackson. Jackson will drive. She'll scoop it up. Rims around, all around the rim and goes out. And finally on the rebound scramble, it goes out of bounds. And the Lopes will still have it, but a tough break for Nana.
Well, that's a great offensive play there from Nana Jackson, able to get through multiple defenders in the paint. And again, the Lopes just unable to convert, things just not going their way here in the first 2.5 minutes offensively.
Jade Bradley checks in for the first time for New Mexico State, the 5'8" junior out of Dallas. And she checks in to match up with Katie Scott. And Scott knocked down Aaliyah Prince. They're going to call an offensive foul, and I'm not sure why. Molly Miller is sitting there going, why was that called? Because Katie's progress was impeded as she tried to get set. Nevertheless, back to the Aggies it goes. And here's a traveling violation, and credit the Lopes press as they were anticipating the pass, and Jade Bradley didn't know whether to run or pass and picked up the pivot foot. So the two teams exchange turnovers, and the Lopes will again get it in their front court, still looking for their first points of the evening. Jackson come around to screen, keep driving, stop at the baseline, throw it out front. Here's Caldwell. Now to Tiara Brown. Wants Scott to come to her, but Katie's in a battle inside with Naidacia, just like she was all night last night. Caldwell on the lane, kick for Brown. Brown tried to hand off for Jackson, almost went past her. Nana retrieves. 6 on the Lopes shot clock. Caldwell can't wait for the screen. She'll drive inside, and a running one-hander is good off the glass. And once again, Caldwell able to force another turnover as the Aggies called for an offensive foul. That one's on Dede Eccles. So that's a drastic difference from the first 3 minutes of the game last night, Jack, as the Lopes press already bothering New Mexico State. So let's see if the Lopes can take advantage of it again with the ball in their front court. Pieta tried for the no-look pass to Brown. It goes past her, and Tiara goes down on the floor with Sule. It's a tie-up, and that will send it the other way on the possession arrow.
Well, it's nice to see the Lopes finally connect there. And again, Taylor Caldwell with about 3 or 4 seconds left on the shot clock, able to find some space for herself to put it up off the glass. And like you said, converting to press, already making a big change early on in this one as the Aggies are on their feet here in the first 3 minutes.
There's a steal by Kennedy Short, starts a 3-on-1 the other way. Caldwell to Brown, she'll shoot it, won't go, but a blocking foul will send Brown to the line. And again, they converged at midcourt. And Eccles just trying to streak through the defense, not very effective. And you can already see Brooke Atkinson seeing a momentum shift, trying to get some of her bench help in early. Foul was called on Dede Eccles. Tiara Brown heading to the line. Actually, check that, it's on Bradley. Brown getting the start tonight as Molly Miller trying to get some punch right off the bat. Missed the shot, but Kennedy Shorts tried for the follow, couldn't get it to go, and now Shorts, maybe in frustration, trying to double team and force the turnover on Usaa, will pick up the foul on her own. Van Lavaris, Tiana Brown checking in to the Lopes lineup for the first time. And the first breather of the night for Caldwell and Tiana's younger sister, Tiara. So Usaa inbounding in front of her own bench with the Lopes up 3-1. Here is Grace Tholovalu. Has it picked from behind by Pieta. Pieta on the break for Jackson, but Jackson can't drive it in. Instead, she drives, gives it for Pieta, puts up a three, bound around, won't go. Rebound scramble. Bradley being bothered by Shorts, and Kennedy Shorts is already making a difference, Jack. She forced that off of Bradley. Lopes ball.
Well, you got to think if you're Kennedy Shorts, you're coming into this one fired up after yesterday, not really getting anything going out of the get-go. So it's nice to see Kennedy Shorts making an impact early on in this one.
So the Lopes with it, 3-1. We've played 3.5 minutes, certainly not what Lopes fans are used to. Spin move in the lane by Jackson, but she can't get it to go, and the rebound goes off Katie Scott. That's the kind of shot that Molly Miller will take all day from Jackson. It just didn't fall. So both teams, again, going to their benches early and often. Grace Tholovalu and now Taylon Grays. And Grays was really the difference maker down the stretch late in the second half and in overtime. And Grays now running the point. Gets it in, quickly breaks the press, give it to Eccles. Eccles will pull up from 6 and misses everything. Jackson able to get the rebound. Aggies not in sync. They're still looking for their first field goal some 4 minutes in. Tiana Brown in the right corner, throws it back out front. Here's Caldwell Tavares, square and fire for 3, that's an air ball. And Grace Tholovalu comes out of the pack with it. Here's Eccles. They want to make sure they can get running before the Lopes defense can get set. Grays gives it back to Tholovalu, trying to lead it inside, but it's too high off the outstretched arms. And that will go the other way. Deja Terrell was cutting inside but couldn't come up with it. And so the Lopes are going to have it. We're almost to the midpoint of this first quarter, and we have 1 field goal combined. Welcome to a defensive struggle. Lopes with a lineup of Caldwell, Tiara Brown, Tiana Brown, Katie Scott, and Nana Jackson. Here's Tiara Brown directing traffic. Tholovalu with the defensive assignment. Comes around to Scott's screen. Stutter step, drives inside. Stops with her back to the basket. Throws it out for Caldwell. 8 on the Lopes shot clock. Here's Scott. Throws it off for Brown, but the pass was high. Right through her fingers, out of bounds. Patience, patience, patience. I'm sure Molly Miller right now, seeing the half-court defense of the Aggies, is telling them, let's make some good passes. If we can't run, we can still beat them in the half court. Eccles inching out of backcourt. Tiara Brown staying right with her. Now they go to the trap. Quick pass to Taylon Grays. Inside, fumbled, but Terrell able to get it back and put it up and in. Deja Terrell, who was pretty quiet. She came in as the 5th leading scorer on this team. Pretty quiet yesterday. And they'd like to see if they can get her on track early. We're tied at 3. Caldwell, as Prince went for the steal, came up empty. Starts the dribble going, give it to Tiana Brown. Fake the 3, stop the dribble. Here's Shorts. 1 bounce, put it up from 10. That's an air ball, and the Lopes suddenly are having trouble finding the contact. Here's a pass to Terrell. Looked like she palmed the ball, no call. Give it to Grays, back to Terrell. Inside, same result. The assist from Grays, and back-to-back hoops for Terrell to give New Mexico State the lead.
Well, the Aggies just trying to regain some of that confidence from yesterday. Again, only putting up 1 point here in the first 5 minutes, putting up a few shots here. It'll be interesting to see how the Lopes are able to respond again, trying to get everyone going, including Katie Scott.
And Katie Scott still fighting to get shot attempts. Right now she's on the bench. Quick pass, Shorts from Tiara Brown, and Shorts with an immediate move. Didn't wait for Terrell to get over and draws the foul. That's 14 fouls on New Mexico State, 3 on the Lopes, and we have our first timeout of the evening with 4:05 left to go here in the first half, or in first quarter. It's New Mexico State 5, Grand Canyon 3. You are watching Lopes women's basketball on GCU TV.
Grand Canyon University, a Christian university, is one of the largest and fastest growing universities in the country. GCU offers 270 dynamic academic programs with modern apartment-style living, classrooms, labs, restaurants, and more. Located in beautiful Phoenix, Arizona, GCU's vibrant community and expansive campus is ranked top 20 for best college campuses in America. My university integrates the free market system with a welcoming Christian worldview perspective into its academic programs and throughout campus life, so you can put your faith into action and help transform communities. GCU campus students received over $157 million in scholarships in 2020, and many students attend GCU for less than the cost of a state university. Visit gcu.edu/myoffer to see the scholarships you qualify for. Admissible high school seniors can schedule a free visit from anywhere in the country. Find your purpose at Grand Canyon University. Visit gcu.edu/myoffer.
Jim Howell, Jack O'Hara back here at GCU Arena, and it's time for our 3 keys to the game, brought to you by Sanderson Ford. The best play on a new Ford is at Sanderson Ford. Jack?
Well, memory loss. Remember these two teams, the Lopes and the Aggies? It was just 24 hours ago that they played 5 quarters. The Lopes falling short in a 61-53 loss to these Aggies. It'll be interesting to see how these teams again are able to make these adjustments on just short notice. So far, so good for both defenses, both offenses. A bit sloppy to start, and there'd be days like these. A little Beatles reference for you here on this Saturday night. We mentioned trying to get Katie Scott going, only 9 points yesterday. Would have been a different scenario if Katie Scott was able to, again, blast off like we've seen throughout the beginning of this season. It'll be interesting to see how she converts to WAC play here in January and convert to press. So far, so good here in the first 6 minutes of play for this Lopes defense, really putting New Mexico State on their back thus far.
Kennedy Shorts fouled by Terrell before the timeout. Heads to the line to try and tie it, but misses the first free throw. Trying to salvage the second half. That's too hard also. And it's Terrell coming up with the defensive rebound. So New Mexico State with a 5-3 lead. Here comes Aaliyah Prince in a hurry. They back off of her, so she takes a 15-footer and gets it. And that's not good news for Molly Miller. She does not want the Aggies' leading scorer getting warmed up early. So the Aggies very quietly with a 6-0 run, and it has been spread out over most of this quarter. Lopes have been very quiet offensively since the early going. Shorts go to the free throw line, and that shot is blocked, but a late whistle. Terrell looking around, trying to figure out where the whistle was, and it doesn't matter who called it because it's still her second personal foul, and Brooke Atkinson immediately is going to have Shania Harper get the warm-ups off. She will check in. So Kennedy Shorts right back to the line. And as you mentioned, Jack, a little bit earlier, free throws were huge late in the second half and during overtime for the Lopes in a negative way, and they've got to start converting these free throws as Shorts misses the third straight one. They're 1 for 5 at the moment from the stripe. Next free throw, that's not good. All of them the same off the back of the iron. And New Mexico State able to get the rebound. They want to run. 3-on-3. Prince gives it off for Grays. Give it to Grace Tholovalu. Tholovalu out for Prince. Quick ball movement by New Mexico State. Throw it out for Grays. Drive on Caldwell. Weak side help by Piera. Knocks it away. The referees confer, and it's going to stay Aggie basketball. Molly Miller saying what Lada Piera is saying. It was off the knee of the Aggies. And apparently they're going to lose the argument. Shorts will check out. Ven Lavaris in with 3:17 left. And the Lopes have 3 points on the board, Jack. My goodness. Here's Prince outside the arc. Kick it now for Taylor Donaldson, who just checked in during that last stop and play. Off for Prince. Prince gets up in the air, gives it to a driving Tholovalo, but her shot off the glass rolls around and off. Lopes could really use a hoop here as Brown comes down the right side. Bounce pass for Piera, run the baseline. Kick for Tiana Brown, out front Caldwell. Square and fire for three, too hard. Rebound to the side, reeled in by New Mexico State's Grace Tholovalo. Now Tholovalo double teamed as she stops the dribble, gets it somehow inside, and that'll be an easy lay-in for Shania Harper as the Lopes went for the steal and came up empty. So Pieta off for Tiana Brown, and the Lopes have been stuck on three for forever. They have not been able to score in over 4 minutes. And we're nearing the 2-minute mark of this first quarter. Pieta waiting for a Tiara Brown screen. Tried to get it back to her on the pick and roll. It's poked away. Another Aggie steal. Coming straight down the middle is Donaldson. And as she thought about passing off, she's held and fouled from behind. That foul will be on Caldwell. That is her first. The Lopes had a foul to give. Dede Eccles back into the New Mexico State lineup, and Taylon Grays will head to the sideline. Tholovalo will inbound it on the final non-shooting foul of the first quarter, right in front of the GCU bench. Eccles back in to run the point, and Caldwell staying with her. Slips down, but gets it off for Prince. Prince running through the lane, throws it out. Tholovalo, they swing it around for Prince again, has it knocked away, but a reach-in foul this time called, and if it's on Caldwell, that's two. It is. So now both teams in the bonus for the remaining $1.59. New Mexico State so far 1 for 2 from the stripe, and the person shooting those free throws, the same one shooting them now, Aaliyah Prince. First free throw, not good. And Usaa was about to check in for the Aggies, but Brooke Atkinson wants to give her some final instructions before she sends her there. Prince makes one of the two, and now Usaa will be allowed to check in. This is a 9-0 run by the Aggies, and it's just as much about the Aggies' defense as it is about the Lopes struggling on offense. Vadas, Piera, Jackson, Tiara Brown, and Caldwell. 5 on the floor for Molly Miller. Here's Brown. Working low block. Stop. Had an open look, but can't get the shot to go. Now Jackson has it stripped away, gets it back. No reset on the shot clock. They lob in for Tiara Brown. Moves across the lane. Kick for Vadas. Vadas around a screen. Stop at the free throw line. Kick to Jackson. Now to Pieta. High arching three-pointer. Way too hard. But it's tipped out front. Pieta's got it. Fresh shot clock for the Lopes. Lopes are settling for outside jumpers, and right now they're just not getting close. Caldwell waits for a screen, covered by Tholovalo in a switch. Give it to Vadas. Fire a three, no. And the Aggies have the defensive rebound to themselves, and Usaa loses it, and Tiara Brown is slow to get up. For the moment, it's 5 on 4. Tholovalo off for Eccles, and yes, traveling violation as Tholovalo did a ball fake to try and throw it inside, threw everybody off, including her right foot, because it moved. Katie Scott back in, and we have played 9 minutes, Jack. Katie Scott does still not have any points because she has no field goal attempts.
Well, it's been sloppy and it's been frustrating, Jim. And I think the most frustrating part of all of this is that New Mexico State really hasn't taken advantage of the Lopes' poor play. They've been just as sloppy, just able to take advantage of some of their opportunities to this point.
Only 13 points combined in 9 minutes. Scott drives, bumped, gets it back, working on Harper, goes in, first shot attempt not good. Scramble for the rebound, Brown's got it. She'll force it up, that one won't go. Scott had the rebound, but it's poked away by Eccles, so the Lopes are gonna have a third opportunity, this time down the floor. Nana Sule back in, and Shania Harper out. Aggies, just like the Lopes, substituting at will. Pieta looking and waiting, and as Scott peeled around a screen, she was held and fouled. Again, both teams in the bonus, and that foul's on Nana Sule. So now Katie Scott will try and get into the scoring column via the charity stripe. With 44.1 seconds remaining, And I don't think we have to check the record books on the season so far, Jack. It's pretty obvious this is a season low for points in a quarter for the Lopes. Scott's first one, not good. And the disease continues to be contagious as the Lopes have now fired 7 free throws and made 1. Next free throw, good. And I think there's a collective sigh of relief on the Lopes bench. Scott heads out, Shorts heads in to pressure the inbounds pass, and that stops the 9-0 run by New Mexico State. Kaylee Atkinson tries to get it in, finally does. Here's Sule, double team, throw it back for Atkinson. Atkinson to Eccles, and Eccles crosses the timeline with 2 seconds to spare. Eccles drives, off for Usaa. Again, very quick ball movement by the Aggies, probably the best the Lopes defense has seen. Donaldson for Atkinson in the corner, fires the 3, won't go. Rebound tapped around, scramble on the floor. It comes out towards the midcourt line, and it's Usaa and Caldwell. And Caldwell, I believe, is going to be called for the foul, and that is not good news. That's 3. And immediately, here comes Tiana Brown, and Taylor Caldwell's going to have to sit for a while. Well, Molly Miller continues to throw combinations out, Jack, but there's just nothing that seems to be in sync.
And Taylor Caldwell being the playmaker that she was here last night, that is a huge loss here in just the first 10 minutes of this one.
And who's going to step up? That's the magic question, and you would imagine Molly Miller is going to say something to that effect in 17.2 seconds when they huddle at the end of the quarter. Both free throws good by Usaa. And it's an 8-point edge. It's the largest for the Aggies. Lopes can go for the final shot of the quarter. They have a dozen seconds to do it. Tiana Brown outside the right arc, gives it to her sister Tiara. Tiara drive, double teamed. Here's Pierre with 4 seconds. Now 3. Somebody's got to shoot it. It's Jackson to force up the shot, and it won't go at the buzzer. The Lopes with 1 field goal in the first 10 minutes of play, and they are 2 for 8 from the free throw line. Work to do for Molly Miller and their coaching staff at the end of 1 quarter here at GCU Arena in the second half of the back-to-back doubleheader. To open up WAC play, it's New Mexico State 12, GCU 4. Keep it here for more exciting Lopes women's basketball on GCU TV.
How can you describe Whataburger's honey barbecue chicken strip sandwich? The chicken just has a certain, you know, with the sauce, it gives you a little bit of, and the cheese, it's the exact right amount of, it's almost too hard to put into words. Good thing there's the honey barbecue chicken strip sandwich at Whataburger.
Find your purpose at Grand Canyon University. Private, Christian, affordable. Visit gcu.edu.
Well, as we get ready for second quarter action, get the best gear to show off your Lope pride. Go to lopeshop.gcu.edu to find everything Grand Canyon University, from the newest apparel to the coolest accessories. Use promo code GCUTV20 today, only to get 20% off for being a GCU TV viewer. Log on and get your gear today.
Jack, you talked about in one of the 3 keys to the game that you've got to be able to get that pressure defense going, but you've got to be able to convert shots to do it. Well, the back half of that is working. The press defense is working, and the Lopes are being able to force turnovers. The bad news, and this is the stat of the night, the Lopes field goal shooting in the first quarter, 1 out of 15, 7%. End of story.
The defense has created opportunities, like you said, for the offense. That was the game plan going in. The offense just hasn't created any opportunities for themselves. They're not feeding themselves. It'll be interesting to see if Laura Pierre at the top of the key here slows things down and re-strategizes.
Apparently not, because she saw daylight coming around the Scott screen, and now they're 2 for 16 as Pieta gets a much-needed basket, and it couldn't have come at a better time. 12-6. So even though the Lopes have not been able to hit anything, they are still within 2 possessions. Eccles takes the dribble to the left side. Here's Prince, has it knocked away, stolen out front. Pieta comes down with Jackson. She'll keep it herself. She will score herself. Back-to-back hoops for LP, and suddenly there's life at GCU Arena. Kaylee Atkinson and Prince playing catch to get it across the timeline. Now the Lopes go to trap, and Prince is bumped by Pieta. Little bit too aggressive was LP, and she'll pick up the foul. Remember, Caldwell's already on the bench with 3 fouls, and that's Pieta's second.
Well, you asked earlier if anybody was going to step up here, and right out of the get-go, Laura Piera not wasting any time. I really thought she was going to slow things down here, trying to, again, re-strategize and see what the Lopes are capable of offensively, trying to, again, slowly set things off. But Laura Piera, like we said, setting things off right out of the get-go.
And Pieta reaches in, knocks it away, scramble for the floor, and on the out-of-bounds line was Sule out of bounds. It's Lopes basketball, and the Lopes finally are starting to get some stops that may be that they are trying to convert into points. And for the moment, and you can see why, Molly Miller keeping Laura Pieta on the floor with 2 personal fouls. Pieta will bring it down the right side. Trying to use a Katie Scott screen to her advantage. Resets Katie, gives it in the corner. Here's Brown back out to Pieta. Pieta drives around Prince, keeps coming. Off the glass and in, wave it off. Offensive foul, and there is personal foul number 3 on Pieta. Molly Miller, hands on hips in front of the bench, and now she has no choice. She originally started to tab Taylor Caldwell, but Caldwell's in a similar situation, so that means Kennedy Shorts is going to come in. So it's going to be up to Jackson and probably Tiana Brown to try and run the point. Tholovalu struggling to get it in, gets it in for Prince. Prince going into the heart of the defense. Off for Eccles. Eccles now will back it out, and New Mexico going into their half-court set. Quick leap and leaner from 12, and Eccles gets that to go. We talked about the Lopes struggles. They only had 1 field goal in that first 10 minutes. Well, that's only the Aggies' 5th. Driving in is Brown, and Brown called for the travel as she put the brakes on the baseline, but scuffed the feet. And you can just tell, Jack, there's no question the Lopes are pressing. Every single time they think they get an opportunity, they go full out, but it doesn't always work that way. Tholovalu with the full court pressure gets it in for Eccles, and now the Lopes have to back off. We'll set the lineup when we get a chance. Eccles drives around a Tholovalu screen. Same leap and leaner, a little bit more off balance, but same result. Back-to-back hoops for Eccles with Pieta, her opposite number, on the bench. And New Mexico State's gotten it back out to an 8-point edge. Low block, Tiara Brown. Kick out for Shorts from 15, short. Rebound tapped around, goes out of bounds. Aggies lobbying as a collective bench, and they'll win the argument. It's New Mexico State basketball. Tholovalu gets it for Eccles, and for the moment, Molly Miller is kind of calling off the dogs and not going with a full court press. Eccles takes the dribble to the right side, keeps coming, cut off on the baseline, throws it for Usaa. Usaa stop, fake, put it off the glass, roll around and off. Eccles sneaks in, can't get that follow to go, and then it's Sule falling down, throws it up, can't get it to go, but a whistle and a foul.
Well, we mentioned how sloppy both of these offenses were in the first quarter. The Aggies really, if they really went on a good run, could have ran away with this thing in the first quarter. That's how poorly this Lopes offense looked. And now it's looking like the Aggies are gaining a little bit more confidence. Dee Eccles, we mentioned the wild card that she was last night in overtime, picking up 7 points leading to that win. Really getting going here now, creating opportunities.
Sule to the line. First free throw's good. And neither team is blistering the nets at the free throw line. New Mexico State a little bit better than the Lopes. They're 5 of 8. The Lopes really struggling, 2 of 8. And for the first time on the weekend, Molly Miller is going to go to Tavia Rowell. Rowell, the 5'10" sophomore out of Langley, British Columbia. And the Lopes have not been able to shoot from the perimeter. Maybe Rowell can change that. So it's Rowell, Jackson, Scott, Vadas, and Tierra Brown. Let's see if this combination can start working for Molly Miller. Jackson the drive, the scoop, the score, and that's something that the Lopes really need from Nana Jackson. 16-10. New Mexico State has led most of the way. Driving inside, Usaa looked like she walked, no call. A three-pointer out front is good by Eccles, and she's heating up. 7 points, but that sure looked like an extra step. Now the Aggies were thinking there was a timeout. They started to celebrate. The Lopes tried to go over the top, and the pass intended for Scott intercepted. And now the Aggies will make their own turnover as Tholovalu's pass too tall for Usaa, and she'll travel on the baseline. Rough and ragged here at GCU Arena to wind up this weekend of basketball. Taylon Gray's set to check in for the Aggies. And the referee's saying no, she's going to have to wait. Now they say yes, but I think they're warning Brooke Atkinson, saying if they're not at the scorer's table when the whistle goes, they're not coming in. 6:47 left, and the Aggies with their largest lead. The Lopes just trying to desperately do anything to get on track offensively. Jackson around a screen, keeps coming, and as she comes around a Katie Scott screen this time, Taylon Gray's fighting through it, but fighting through it a little too aggressively. She'll pick up the foul. That is their first team foul of the quarter. The Lopes already with 3. So that'll be a non-shooting foul, and Vadas will inbound just to the left of the New Mexico State bench. We played 3.5 minutes here in this second quarter. Here's Rowell straight away. That three-pointer's too strong. Brown trying to keep it alive, but Eccles wins it, gets it out front, and an open layup for Usaa, but she missed it. Scramble out front, Usaa able to track it down. And the Lopes again not getting to loose balls like they were Friday. Traveling violation as Grays knew what she wanted to do, but Jackson beat her to the spot, and when she twisted around, she picked up the ball. Turnovers aplenty on both sides of the ledger. A combined 21 between the two, and we've only played 14 minutes. Here's Jackson, stutter step. Is able to get the defender down on the ground, give it to Brown, three-pointer won't go. Lopes keep on firing, but they can't find the range. 2-on-2, and Usaa tried to get it for Grays, and the trailer Tierra Brown knocks it out of bounds. Great play. So it's Eccles who will inbound to the left of her own bucket with 5:55 left to go in the half. Lobs it for Tholovalu. Rifles a pass for Taylon Grays, now to Usaa. Here's Eccles, three-pointer, got it, and somebody better put a body on her as Eccles has made her last 4 shots. She's got 10 points all in this quarter, and suddenly it's a 12-point Lopes deficit. Rowell outside the arc. They swing it around in the corner for Scott. They have not been able to find a way to get Katie Scott involved in the offense. Vadas, the little leap and leaner won't go. I think Vadas was as surprised as anybody that she was going to have to put up that shot. Fast break the other way. Grays can't get it to go, and Usaa bumps into her own man but is able to control the rebound. Lopes again not getting to the loose balls. And Eccles comes out with a chance to give New Mexico State a 14-point lead. Starts to work around a screen, comes to the right side, throws it for Tholovalu. Shot clock at 2, she'll pump it up from 17, too hard. Rebound out to Katie Scott. Lopes desperately need a hoop here. Tierra Brown working one-on-one, fumbles, has to go to the ground, trying to play keep away and does. Gets it to Scott, into Vadas, go to the hoop and score. Alert play, not only by Katie Scott, but by Ven Lavares, who moved well without the basketball. 22-12, and the shot put up Dee Eccles continuing to blister the nets with 12 points in the quarter. Here's Rowell, the trailer. Pump it up for three. That's short. Tavia trying to fight for her own rebound, but Eccles able to beat her to the spot. Lopes kind of standing around on offense. Eccles calls out a set play by tugging at her shirt. Why do we know that? Because her head coach was doing the same thing. Eccles trying to shed the defender Vadas. They give it in the corner, and Usaa fires a three. Misses everything. Scott has to save it and does so. But the Aggies have it back. Fresh shot clock on the change of possession. Tholovalu for Inusa. Inusa with the drive. Cross court, Grays. Square and fire for three. Won't go. Nothing but white jerseys underneath for the defensive board. Jackson down the right side. Keeps pressing. Drives to the free throw line, give it off for Tiara Brown. Tried for the lob pass, but it wasn't really a lob. Intended for Scott, and the Aggies come up with the steal one more time. Everything going the Aggies' way, and the Lopes are disheveled. Rowell comes out to pressure Eccles. Remember, Pieta and Caldwell both on the Lopes bench in foul trouble. Here's Tholovalu. She'll pump up a three. That one won't go. Nobody underneath for the offensive rebound. And Tiara Brown's going to walk it out of backcourt. Jackson, for the moment, running the point with both of Miller's first 2 point guards on the pine with 3 fouls. Scott at the high post, turns and faces the hoop. Give it to Rowell. Fake the three, drives, double teamed, and it's just ripped out of her hands by Rodria Eccles. Eccles comes down, gets the pass inside. Looked like Sule traveled, no call. And as she throws it outside, it's picked off by Brown. Brown behind the back dribble. But now she has to get herself back, puts it up from 14 and gets it. Broken play, but Jack will take it.
Looked very smooth there as well from Brown, able to go behind the back, create an opportunity in the paint, and once again, the Lopes, a big confidence booster there, down by 10, and now all you got to do is stop the machine that has been Dee Eccles here in the second quarter.
Which is very tough to do at the moment. Tholovalu doesn't want the shot, give it to Grays, who does. The three-pointer's way off, but it comes right to Eccles. Eccles, bank it up, bank it in. Dee Eccles came into the ball game averaging just 6 points a game. You could forget about that. She's got 14 here in the quarter. Rowell out front for three. And that's got to be a collective sigh of relief on the Lopes bench. Now they need a whole lot more of that. Buck and a half left to go before halftime. Inside Grays. Grays, bothered, was able to get rid of it. Again, Molly Miller asking and pleading for a traveling violation, but not getting any help. She will get a tie up here, but the possession arrow again continues to benefit the Aggies. They will get the ball, but after the timeout, with 1:19 left to go before the half, and the Lopes desperately trying to find some rhythm. It's New Mexico State 26, GCU 17. Keep it here for more coverage of Lopes women's basketball on GCU TV.
We made USAA Insurance for members like Kate, a former Army medic made of the flexibility to handle whatever Monday has in store and tackle 4 things at once. So when her car got hit, she didn't worry. She simply filed a claim on her USAA app and said,
"I've got this."
USAA Insurance is made the way Kate needs it. Easy. She can even pick her payment plan, so it's easy on her budget and her life. USAA. What you're made of, we're made for.
How can you describe Whataburger's honey barbecue chicken strip sandwich? The chicken just has a certain, with the sauce. The sauce, it gives you a little bit of... And the cheese, it's the exact right amount of... it's almost too hard to put into words. Good thing there's... Good thing there's the honey barbecue chicken strip sandwich at Whataburger.
Hey GCU fans, if you haven't already, it's time to download the Lope Nation app. Watch GCU home sporting events directly from your app. Receive personalized news and score updates for your favorite Lopes teams follow Lopes closer than ever before with scores, schedules, stories, and more. And even more perks will be coming soon, so stay tuned for that. Search GCU Athletics in your phone's app store or download the GCU Athletics app now at gculopes.com/app.
Well, you know, fourth-year head coach Brooke Atkinson right now has got to be saying, boy, we're glad we brought Dee Dee Eccles to the party. Eccles missed her only 2 shot attempts in the first quarter, but in the second quarter, she's been a one-person wrecking crew. 6 for 6 from the field, including a pair of threes, and she has 14 points, again, all in the first 8 minutes plus of this quarter.
Well, Jim, you were begging someone to step up, and unfortunately for the Lopes, it's been Dee Dee Eccles with those 14 points.
Aggies, after the held ball before the timeout, will inbound right in front of the Lopes bench, and there's a timeout for the moment as the lead official, Brad Schmidt, explaining something to Brooke Atkinson. And meanwhile, Molly Miller also getting an explanation on the other end from Lee Mullen. There has been a lot of conversation with the refs on both sides of the coin in this first half. Back to live action. Here's Eccles on the left side. Did she travel? She thought she did, but they let it go away. And there's 1 on the clock. Desperation 3 won't go. Doesn't draw iron, and the Lopes force the turnover. Well, traveling violations have been a bone of contention for the last 2 days. This is the same 3-person crew that worked Friday's game, and they were calling them very tight. Jackson sweeps in, but the shot won't go. Whistle and a foul. The good news is for Lopes fans, that foul is on Aaliyah Prince. The bad news is that the Lopes are going to the free throw line. Let's hope Nana Jackson can buck the recent trend, because the Lopes are going to the line for the first time in the quarter, but in the first quarter they were 2 out of 8. You saw it. I don't need to say anything. 61 seconds left to go. Trying to make it an 8-point game. There you go, Nana. 26-18, and now a whistle. And Eccles, apparently in the exchange for the rebounds, took a shot, I think, in the eye. So an official's timeout. Hasn't been anything that could stop Eccles in this quarter, but that just might. Not sure where that exchange came from, and remember, it was on a made free throw, so that truly adds insult to injury. Eccles trying to walk it off. So a timeout for the moment, and I think they're going to the review to see if there's a possibility of an elbow, which could be a flagrant foul. And with all the things, Jack, that have gone wrong for the Lopes in the first half, they don't need that.
Well, you definitely don't wish upon injuries on anybody, but again, this could potentially be a huge coup for the Lopes here in this final minute, trying to erase an 8-point deficit heading into halftime. So again, it'll be interesting to see how this plays out here. The officials looking at the monitor here right now as both teams again looking to regroup, re-strategize. You got to be scratching your head if you're Molly Miller, being the powerhouse offense that this team is, this Lopes offense, just not clicking whatsoever, even getting good shots up, just again not getting any friendly rolls.
Hope you'll stick around at halftime. A historic week for the Western Athletic Conference, and we're going to find out exactly what that historic announcement that happened on Thursday. We assume you know about it, but if you don't, we'll talk more about it at halftime, and we'll also hear about what it's going to mean for GCU basketball. Referees started to come away from the scorer's table, weren't satisfied. Now they will come and confer. Again, it's a 3-man officiating crew of Brad Schmidt, Lee Mullen, and Jess Martinez. So they're kind of trying to figure out what to do as these two teams kind of iced. Molly Miller not really saying anything to her charges, and I think she's kind of letting the Lopes players talk amongst themselves to see what they can do to motivate themselves over the final minute. So the referees break the huddle, and apparently it's just going to be Aggie basketball. And Eccles comes over to kind of plead her case to Lee Mullen. So with 1:01 left, Kennedy Shorts will pressure the inbounds pass as Amanda Soderquist gets the basketball. She looks, goes for the long pass. That goes right past Prince. Can she save it? She does. Can Eccles save it? Yes, she can. Over to Bradley, now to Prince. Prince driving in, left-handed hook, not good. Traveling violation, turnover, New Mexico State. And that's a turnover that could have happened in about 3 different instances on that play alone. So now the Lopes come down with a chance to make this a 2-possession game for the first time in most of the quarter. Jackson to the left side with a dribble. Hands off for Rowell. Pump it up for 3! We said who's going to step up. Tavia Rowell with 2 3-pointers here in this second quarter. And the Lopes are closer than they've been in a while. Soderquist looking, trying to inbound. Does so on the side for Shania Harper. Now for Soderquist, who will bring it down. She'll stop. They're still in backcourt. Eccles will bring it across the time stripe with 1 second to spare. 4 seconds difference between the shot clock and the game clock. Shorts pressuring the point guard Eccles out near the midcourt line. Shot clock at 10. Start to drive, give it to Soderquist. Pump it up for 3, won't go. But the long rebound comes out. Here's Eccles with 7 seconds. Shot clock is off. Bradley will drive, force up a shot off the side of the glass. Offensive foul. And a great play by Nana Jackson at the baseline to take the charge on Bradley. So there's 3.1 seconds remaining as Molly Miller reinserts Katie Scott. Then Lavaris will inbound it. And oh, what a momentum shift this would be if the Lopes could get a shot here. Vadas for Scott. Scott running with 1 second, throws up a desperation shot that is not close. And that is the way the first half ends. The Lopes with a mini run as they're able to close this 12-point run down to 5, scoring the last 7 points of the first half. Again, we hope you'll stick around for our halftime show, which follows. We have reached the break in the second half of this WAC opening doubleheader for both teams. And here's your halftime score. The Aggies of New Mexico State University 26 and your GCU Lopes 21. Stick around for more after this on GCU TV.
When you have the urge to play outside, Tire Pros wants to get you there, offering convenience, selection, and our national roadside assistant. Message us or schedule an appointment online at Community Tire Pros today. Tire Pros, we're here for you. While you explore our country, let Community Tire Pros be part of your journey. We're here to give everyone something to look forward to. Message us or schedule an appointment online at Community Tire Pros today. Tire Pros, we're here for you.
When life seems uncertain, there's one credit union that provides both dollars and cents. Copper State Credit Union. With solutions that focus on our members, you can take advantage of competitive rates, free cashback checking, and local attentive service. Uplifting our community is a standard we live by. That's why thousands of your Arizona neighbors rely on us. Strengthening Arizona families through financial empowerment. That's Copper State Credit Union.
We made USAA Insurance for members like Kate, a former Army medic made of the flexibility to handle whatever Monday has in store and tackle 4 things at once. So when her car got hit, she didn't worry. She simply filed a claim on her USAA app and said,
"I've got this."
USAA Insurance is made the way Kate needs it. Easy. She can even pick her payment plan, so it's easy on her budget and her life. USAA. What you're made of, we're made for. USAA.
From reimagining the way you work to reassessing what you need, you've changed the way you do business. And now, so have we. With no annual contracts and flexible internet and voice solutions, you'll have what you need to get back to business. Rethink, reconnect, reimagine. Switch to Cox Business today.
With Jack O'Hara, Jim Howe back here at GCU Arena, and the Lopes continuing to look up at the scoreboard and not liking what they see, but they did close out the half with a 7-0 run, holding New Mexico State scoreless for the final 2 minutes, and it's a 26-21 Aggies lead here at the break. Well, New Mexico State and GCU, as most of you know, have been powers on both the men's and women's side of the ledger. New Mexico State has been the one that everybody has looked to for WAC championships in basketball and in men's basketball and women's basketball. But Jack O'Hara, suddenly they're going to get challenged because it's a new dawn, maybe starting as early as next year for the Western Athletic Conference.
New things are about to heat up in a big way, and very, very soon, Jim, a WAC expansion here in this Western Athletic Conference. GCU, as you can see right here, Southern Utah, Stephen F. Austin, Lamar, Sam Houston State, and Albine Christian University as well. Welcome to the party, and it's going to be very interesting to see, because this conference, as competitive as it's been over the past several years, like you said, GCU and New Mexico State being the head honchos of this division, it's about to get a lot more competitive, and it's going to be a lot more of a warmer conference moving forward as well.
You certainly see the consolidation now going forward in the states of Utah and Texas, and that's one of the reasons why they're going to go to a 13-team conference but break it into 2 divisions, and one of the divisions will house the Texas schools, which, Jack, certainly makes sense.
It definitely is way more convenient moving forward for everybody involved, and again, it's going to be a lot more competitive moving forward, meaning a lot more excitement heading into WAC play in the future.
Well, you heard some of the faces and some of the names that were speaking yesterday during our halftime as far as what it meant for the conference as a whole, because they had a press conference Thursday morning in Houston. Our president, Brian Mueller, spoke at that, and then he also spoke an hour later via Zoom with a GCU press conference that was hosted by athletic director Jamie Boggs. The question being, what does this now mean for Lopes men's and women's basketball? We go straight to the sources, and we hear from head coaches Molly Miller and Bryce Drew.
Big day, exciting time for our conference. It's kind of here, and it's come to fruition, all this hard work of our great leadership with Jamie and President Mueller and all the institutions who have made this a reality for us. I'm so excited from a women's basketball standpoint, because if we crunched some numbers here. If we were to take the current teams in the WAC now, the past 3 years, our RPI increases by 45. That's huge. I think that kind of solidifies to me the commitment that, like President Mueller said, these like-minded institutions has to put this elite at the elite level. And for me as a women's basketball coach, that's exciting to know that. Here, mark this one down for you guys. Out of the teams nationally that have at least played 6 games, we're going to want to highlight, asterisk, bold, underline this game. GCU, we're ranked number 1 in turnovers forced nationally. Stephen F. Austin is number 2. Talk about that game. That's going to be fun, you know, that defensive lockdown mentality. So just the elevation in the conference itself, for me, is exciting. We always go back to the student athlete and what's the best experience for the student athlete. I think we've put a premier conference together to give them that best experience. I'll let you guys in on it. About 10 minutes after this, I'm going to go call some high-level Texas recruits, because we're recruiting in Texas right now. And the fact that I get to tell them, hey, we're going to frequent your home state. We're going to visit often right in your backyard. I think that's huge for the recruiting footprint of GCU and all our programs. So I'm thrilled to kind of use this momentum, and it's got great implications for the future when you're talking about seeding, NCAA berths, just the competition level. For competitive coaches like ourselves, it's a great day. It's exciting. Welcome the new teams. Thank you for the leadership to kind of make this come to fruition, and we're excited to be a Lope and represent the WAC along with other teams in our conference.
Only being here a few months, I'm overwhelmed with the leadership that GCU has. When you go to President Mueller and what he's done, for this university and what he's doing by the day, just increasing the brand and the status of this university. You look at Mr. Colangelo, what he did for sports just in general across the world, and what he did for the city of Phoenix. And the vision of those two is second to none. Some of the best visionary people that I've ever come across, ever known, ever read about. We have the privilege and the opportunity to work with. Jamie Boggs has been sensational. She's extremely ambitious. And again, I think she's a big reason why we're sitting up here today announcing this new conference that we all get to participate in. Going to men's basketball. Every school that we brought in has been in the NCAA tournament in the last 2 decades. And if you go to Stephen F. Austin, they've won multiple games in the tournament. And where does this help GCU? Well, it's one thing to get to the NCAA tournament, which is a very, very special opportunity. It's another thing to be positioned to have a good seed so you can win and so you can advance. And the addition of these 5 schools with the addition of what we already have in the WAC, we're really hopeful that our net rankings as individuals will all go up and our conference will all go up. And how does that help all of us? When the NCAA seedings come, it's really hard when you're a 14 or 15 or 16, really hard to advance. But when you get into that 13, 12, 11 area, your percent significantly go up to be able to advance in the NCAA tournament. And so just the addition of these schools have already raised the average net by 20 individually and by a conference by 4 places up. As we play each other year in and year out, hopefully those numbers will continue to go up. The other nice advantage for men's basketball is you always want to play in nice arenas. And we're very blessed here to have a tremendous arena when we play at home. But now when we go on the road, we have even more nice arenas to play in. Many are renovating their arenas or already have. Most of them all seat over 5,000 up to 9,000. And so there'll be great venues that our student athletes can go and play in. And so as a basketball coach, is the league much harder now? Absolutely, it's much harder. But there's also much more opportunity for us to be able to keep a net ranking high and be able to get a good seed into the NCAA tournament. So thank you, Jamie. Thank you, Jerry. President Mueller in Texas, thank you for all you've done to help give us this platform to play at a high level.
So the announcement's big. They are excited. And when you talk about what the level of talent is, Southern Utah is strong on both sides of the coin in the Big Sky Conference in men's and women's basketball. And when you look at the 4 Texas teams in the Southland Conference right now, on the men's side, they are a combined 29-17. On the women's side, they're a combined 30-12. Welcome to the WAC. This will be fun. And we're going to take a break and come back with the halftime stats. The Lopes trailing New Mexico State 26-21. We'll be back with more on GCU TV.
How can you describe Whataburger's honey barbecue chicken strip sandwich? The chicken just has a certain, with the sauce. The sauce, it gives you a little bit of... And the cheese, it's the exact right amount of... it's almost too hard to put into words. Good thing there's... Good thing there's the honey barbecue chicken strip sandwich at Whataburger.
Joel Embiid is unhappy.
Like, really unhappy.
Because the internet keeps using not-so-amazing GIFs to react to his amazing highlights. Mountain Dew presents the Joel Embiid Deserves Better Reactions GIF Collection.
Now I'm so happy.
Grand Canyon University, a Christian university, is one of the largest and fastest growing universities in the country. GCU offers 270 dynamic academic programs with modern apartment-style living, classrooms, labs, restaurants, and more. Located in beautiful Phoenix, Arizona, GCU's vibrant community and expansive campus is ranked top 20 for best college campuses in America. My university integrates the free market system with a welcoming Christian worldview perspective into its academic programs and throughout campus life, so you can put your faith into action and help transform communities. GCU campus students received over $157 million in scholarships in 2020, and many students attend GCU for less than the cost of a state university. Visit gcu.edu/myoffer to see the scholarships you qualify for. Admissible high school seniors can schedule a free visit from anywhere in the country. Find your purpose at Grand Canyon University. Visit gcu.edu/myoffer.
Time stats brought to you by Copper State Credit Union with 8 branches across Arizona, including right here at GCU. And Jack, one of the things that that jumps out at you is the field goal percentage. You look at it and you say 30% for GCU. Gosh, that's awful. But when you consider that they were shooting 7% after one quarter, we'll take it.
Yeah, I mean, they were ice cold after that first quarter, like we were mentioning, almost historically bad, not to sugarcoat anything, but like we mentioned, the Aggies just unable to pull away as well after that first quarter, 40% from the field, just 18% from downtown to match the Lopes, and the Lopes able to hit some timely shots late to pull themselves within 5 points at the half. Definitely a different look heading into the second half if you're Molly Miller's squad.
Well, and you know a couple of things that are going to give Molly Miller heartburn is the rebound stat and the turnover stat. Yes, it's great that the Aggies have committed 15 miscues, but the Lopes committing 10, Molly Miller knows they just can't have that.
And of course, like we've mentioned all night long, the defense has resulted in a big way compared to last night. Again, the defense creating opportunities for this offense. The offense, like you mentioned, just unable to create opportunities, not hitting shots. And again, they've had their fair share of good shots put up. They've just not been able to get the friendly roll. And I think the biggest thing that I think Molly Miller will want to work on in practice this week is free throws, because again, it has been historically bad over the past 24 hours in these 2 games against New Mexico State. Could be the big difference here in this second half as well, considering the way that first half went.
Aggies shooting only 4 of 7 from the free throw line. That's 57%. But the Lopes, who were 2 of 8 free throw shooting in the first quarter, now 3 out of 10, and they're shooting only marginally better from the free throw line than they are from three-point range. We should mention that Dede Eccles with a big big second quarter. All 14 of her points to lead all scores came in that second 10 minutes. And for the Lopes, nobody on the roster that has played has more than 6 points, and those 6 points came at the end of the half, courtesy of Tavia Rao, who likely earned some more PT. She didn't play at all yesterday, and as a matter of fact, on cue, Molly Miller sends her out to start the second half, along with Tierra Brown, Lauda Pieta, Katie Scott, and Nana Jackson. That's big for 2 reasons. Lauda Pieta's on the floor with 3 fouls, and Tavia Rowell is replacing Taylor Caldwell, who stays on the bench with 3. So here we go. Second half underway. Lopes with the basketball and a chance to possibly cut this to 1 possession. Pieta, stop, lob for Scott. It's tipped away. Can Katie save it? Yes, she can. Somehow to Rowell, who moves inside, has the shot knocked away, but contact made, and that play was made by Katie Scott. So Rowell will head to the free throw line. Rowell, who doesn't get an awful lot of chances at the free throw line, taking advantage of it, and let's hope that is contagious. Foul was on Prince, by the way. That is her second. Rowell at the line, makes them both. So it's a 3-point game, and dating back to the last 2 minutes of the first half, the Lopes in the midst of a 9-0 run. Eccles brings it across the time stripe. Brown right on her hip. Off for Sophia Usaa. Same 5 that started the game for Brooke Atkinson with Aaliyah Prince, Amanda Soderquist, and Nana Sule. Here's Eccles. Eccles covered by Rowell. Now for Prince. Another leap and leaner. That one's too hard. And the Lopes are able to converge on the defensive rebound. Cross-court pass for Brown. Inching in on the baseline. Stopped the dribble. Tried to get it low block, but Pieta had put on the brakes, and Prince intercepts. Brown slow to get up. It's 5-on-4 for the moment. Eccles comes down. Give it to Soderquist. Now for Usaa. She'll drive. Fake. Beautiful move as she goes to the hoop and scores. Well, that stops the string of 9 unanswered by the Lopes. Let's see if the Lopes can get it right back as Pieta walks it across the midcourt line. Give it to Rowell. Rowell's been the one with the hot hand. In fact, she's covered by Eccles. She's been the hot one for New Mexico State. Cross court, Brown to Rowell. Rowell stop, dish for Pieta. Work the baseline, keeps coming in. Shot rolls off. Scott fights for it. She'll follow, and that one almost drops through, but a whistle and a foul will send Scott to the line. And you can just see, Jack, they are not giving Katie Scott any room no matter where she is on the floor.
And Katie Scott, to this point, has not been able to adjust to the style of defense that the Aggies have put on her over the past 24 hours. But again, here we go again. Free throws playing a big factor here in the first minute and a half. And the Lopes, if it's anything like Tavia Rowell, able to pull away with these two shots, trying to, again, erase that 5-point deficit.
Katie Scott misses the front half. And remember, Katie, the second best free throw shooter on the squad, coming in at over 80%. Can she salvage the next one? Yes. Scott now 2 out of 4. And this is normally the time that Molly Miller would take Katie Scott out for defensive purposes, but maybe she's going to leave her in and see if Scott can get into some sort of flow. Lopes pressuring on the inbound, goes to Eccles, and now the Lopes back out of it. 28-24. Lopes have trailed for all but the first minute and a half of the game. Here's Prince on the drive. Kicks out for Usaa. Fake the three. Jackson doesn't buy it. Here's Tholavalu, who checks in early. Now to Eccles. Eccles on the drive. Puts it up. No. Wave it off. Katie Scott taking the charge. Offensive foul. Dede Eccles. Big play by Scott, and I'm sure the question was whether or not she was outside the circle. Apparently she was. So Pieta directing traffic as Rowell inbounds. Pieta takes the dribble to the left side. Stop, give it to Jackson straight away. Start to drive, keep coming. She'll muscle it up and muscle it in. Jackson with the big drive. Her second field goal, same way as in the first half. Prince trying to get it back. Gives it underneath for Usaa. Now to the charging Deja Terrell, it won't go. Rebound tipped out front. Here's Tiara Brown going coast to coast. It is stripped out of her hands, but she's knocked down and fouled. And already we see the momentum swing as Brown heads to the line.
Well, that is vintage Nana Jackson being aggressive in the paint, making things happen for herself and this offense. Coming away with the score moments ago, and again, making things happen, sacrificing her body in the process. And again, the Lopes back to the free throw line, looking to convert.
And even better news for the Lopes is Aaliyah Prince is heading to the Aggies bench. That was the foul on her. That's her third. And so the Aggies leading scorer on the season sitting down 2.5 minutes into the third. Brown with 2 huge free throws and converts the first. The last time we were tied, 3-3. And Brown now with a chance to create tie number 2 right here. The freshman looks, eyes, shoots, gets. That's huge. Lauda Pieta out of the lineup. Taylor Caldwell in. 3 fouls exchanged for 3 fouls, so Caldwell's got to be careful. Pressure defense, and now they back out of it as Eccles will slow it up and wait for her charges to get set. Tied at 28. Eccles will put it up from 15 and got it. Remember, she was the one who could not miss. She was 6 for 6 to begin the second quarter. Rowell quickly up for 3! Tavia Rowell gets her bench up and motivated, and what do you know, the Lopes have the lead 31-30. First time the Lopes have led since it was 3-1. Eccles to the left side. Gets up in the air, give it to Taylor Grays, scissors through defense, but her shot is short. Rebound off the hands of Scott, back to Grays, she'll miss it again. Coming out of it is Terrell. She can't get it to go. And suddenly it's the Aggies who are stone cold. Brown rifles the pass. Rowell gets knocked down as Tholavalu went for the steal. That'll be a foul on Tholavalu, and it only took 3 minutes and 17 seconds, Jack, but New Mexico State already over the team foul limit.
And they are on their heels. Tavia Rowell stepping up in a big way. We saw her with those 2 3 3-point shots from downtown, clutch and timely shots before the end of the first half, coming away with a huge one to put the Lopes in the lead for the first time in this one, and again, back to the line for the Lopes.
So Rowell, who has made her only 2 free throw attempts, back to the line for a pair, and the first one's perfect. So Rowell adding to the lead. This is the largest lead the Lopes have had. We're in the third quarter, and she just extended it. Lopes 33, New Mexico State 30. The Lopes pressing in backcourt. Tholovalu gets it across the line. Now she's double teamed, has it knocked away, but a whistle and a foul. And Molly Miller holding her breath. That foul is on Tierra Brown. That's the good news because it could have been on Caldwell. That is the first team foul of the half for GCU. So a non-shooting foul as Tholovalu is set to check in. Referees now conferring before they start the inbound. And they're allowing Caldwell to get in between a couple of Aggies' offensive players. Tholovalu looks, waits, gets it for Eccles. 20 seconds on the New Mexico State shot clock. Eccles almost fumbled it away, throws it out for Tholovalu. Tholovalu picked up by Kennedy Shorts, who checked in during that last stop and play. She drives in, loses the ball. Tierra Brown with both hands ties her up. Possession arrow sends it the other way. What a play by the freshman. Katie Scott will check back in. Kennedy Shorts gets a high five as she heads to the bench. And if you take it back to the 2.5-minute mark of the second quarter, the Lopes in the midst of a 19-4 run, trying to build on this 3-point lead. They've never led by more than one possession. Caldwell yo-yoing the ball out front. Inusa right in front of her. Give it to Scott, who comes out to get the ball. Working on Harper, shoots over her, air ball from 3-point range, and the Aggies will let it go. And that really shows just how much Katie Scott is pressing. And it's so many times in the first 9 games, Jack, that we had to kind of pinch ourselves saying, remember, this is only a freshman. Well, sometimes those growing pains come to fruition, and they have in this 2-game set. Here's Inusa. Streaking down the left side, give it to Taylon Grays. Out front, Eccles. Eccles will lob it inside for Harper. Turnaround bank shot is good, and they saw with Scott out of the ball game, they had a mismatch as Jackson had the defensive assignment on her. Second field goal for Shania Harper, and now Grays coming around to pick. I don't even think she saw Tierra Brown, and she crashes into Brown. The foul is on Grays, and remember, the Lopes are in the bonus. So Brown, who just buried a pair a moment ago, back to the line for 2 more. First free throw, good. And right now, normally we would be hushed and hanging on every free throw late in the game. Now every free throw is crucial. Both free throws good. And whatever elixir Molly Miller fed to them in the halftime locker room, they need to do that more often. Tavia Rowell checks out to a nice hand from the Havocs. Inbound to Eccles. Eccles comes down 3-on-3. Backs it out as the Lopes are back defensively. Give it to the trailer, that's Grace Tholovalu. Out front is Inusa. Stop, throw it away. But it gets through Brown, goes back to Grays. Grays with 15 on the shot clock. Low block for Inusa. Drive inside, force up the shot, get it to go, it'll count, and she's fouled. That was the way Inusa made her living in the second half yesterday. Streaking to the hoop and drawing the contact. Foul is on Shorts, and so Shorts now joins Caldwell and Pieta at the 3-foul plateau and will join Molly Miller on the bench as Katie Scott checks in, and it's Inusa with a chance to tie at the 5:17 mark. The and one is converted. Knotted up at 35. Pieta being pressured in the backcourt, off for Katie Scott. Scott now tried for the skip pass, and it's anticipated well. Intercepted by Eccles. Throws it over for Usaa. Stop, wanted to get it inside for Harper, couldn't do it. Has to throw it back out to Eccles, and Dede says, let's be a little bit more patient. Drives to the left side for the dribble, scoops it for Usaa. Shot clock at 12. Jackson gets a hand on it, knocks it away, goes out of bounds. Referees conferring Aggie basketball. And that will send both teams to their benches, and we've got a timeout on the floor with 4:50 left to go, and we are all even. New Mexico State 35, Grand Canyon 35. Keep it here for more exciting Lopes women's basketball on GCU TV.
While you explore our country, let Community Tire Pros be part of your journey. We're here to give everyone something to look forward to. Message us or schedule an appointment online at Community Tire Pros today. Tire Pros, we're here for you.
Joel Embiid is unhappy.
Like, really unhappy.
Because the internet keeps using not-so-amazing GIFs to react to his amazing highlights. Mountain Dew presents the Joel Embiid Deserves Better Reactions GIF Collection.
Now I'm so happy.
When you have the urge to play outside, Tire Pros wants to get you there, offering convenience, selection, and our national roadside assistant. Message us or schedule an appointment online at Community Tire Pros today. Tire Pros, we're here for you.
Time to take a look at the upcoming schedule. It's brought to you, as always, by Commonwealth Insurance, the way insurance should be. Jack?
Well, men's basketball on a roll so far here in the new Bryce Drew era. They're going to take on New Mexico State January 29th and the 30th. Both games taking place at 7 p.m. here inside the GCU Arena. And, of course, women's basketball will be back on February 5th, taking on UTRGV. They'll be here Friday, February 5th, and Saturday, February 6th. Both games at 6 p.m. right here in the GCU Arena, and you can catch those games on GCU TV.
We should also point out that is now going to start a 4-game homestand, because the Tarleton State Series, originally scheduled for last weekend and postponed due to COVID, has now been rescheduled for Tuesday and Wednesday, February 9th and 10th, right here at GCU Arena. Keep checking GCULopes.com for more details. And Dede Eccles picking up where she left off. The driving shot after the timeout gives New Mexico State the lead back at 37-35. Caldwell and Pieta playing catch out front. Tiara Brown trying to go over the top, and Katie Scott leaning the other way. And that has been an ongoing struggle all weekend long. The Lopes have just not been able to get the lob passes on point to Scott.
Well, it was a nice idea from Tiara Brown. Just a little too much oomph on that one, trying to get it to Katie Scott and the Lopes offense, continuing to try to get Katie Scott rolling here late in this game, down by 2.
You get the feeling you know what Molly Miller is going to be working on in practice all week long. Pieta went from the steal on the inbound, came up empty, and here's Eccles. Now double team, give it to Tholovalu. She'll throw it deep for Usaa. Usaa on the corner. Out front for Eccles, they play catch. Usaa, baseline drive, snuck in inside of Rowell, and she will score. And suddenly it's a 7-0 New Mexico State run. Now it's the Aggies' turn to pressure. Caldwell finally gets it across to Pieta. Pieta inside for Short, she'll put it up, won't go. A lot of contact, but no call. Aggies come with the basketball, leading by 4. Eccles into the forecourt. Short's almost able to pick her pocket. Eccles, low block, Harper, turn and score with the left hand. And just like that, a quick momentum shift. 9-0 run by the Aggies. 6-point lead. Pieta going through the lane, doesn't find any room. Jackson for Rowell. Shorts calling for the ball, but they can't get it to her over the outstretched arms of Shania Harper. Shot clock at 11. Caldwell's been quiet. Give it to Rowell, straight away for 3! At this point, give number 13 the basketball. 16 points in just a quarter and a half for Tavia Rowell. Tholovalu keeps coming. Jackson was on her hip, kept poking at the ball, and apparently got part of the body. That will cost Jackson her first, but it's only the third team foul of the quarter on the Lopes. So a non-shooting foul. And for the first time tonight, Carla Balaguer gets the warm-ups off. And the 6'2" junior from Barcelona now with a chance to make her presence known. We saw what Tavia Rowell did with a late insertion in the second quarter. Let's see if Balaguer can give them a spark here in the third. Eccles trying to get it inside, intercepted by Caldwell. Alerts hands by TC. Pieta drive across the lane. Kick in the corner, Jackson for three, no. Balaguer fighting for the rebound with three different Aggies. Goes down to the floor. Whistle. Are they going to call a held ball? Yes, they delayed the call. And the possession arrow, I think, should go to the Lopes. The possession box is off. They're going to say it's Aggie basketball. So the Lopes lose out on that one, and the Aggies will have it with 2:40 to go. Tholovalu looking, waiting. Aggies not having to worry about the pressure on the inbound. Eccles gets it, and Jackson right there to defend. Now they go into their trap. Here's Tholovalu. Throws it in the right corner. Spinning is Grays. Trying to get it inside for Harper. And again, it's Pieta jumping in to intercept the pass. 3-point game. Balaguer setting a screen for Pieta. Running one-hander is good, but wave it off. The foul before the shot and a moving screen. Offensive foul, Carla Balaguer. Tough break. So the Aggies will inbound in backcourt, still holding on to that three-point edge. Tholovalu to Eccles, and the Lopes back off. Jackson has been pressuring the point guard spot through most of the last quarter. Eccles to the right side for Tholovalu. She's double-teamed. Throws it in the opposite corner. Grays saves it to Harper, puts it up, rolls off. Good defense on the interior by Balaguer. Rowell brings it down the left side. Keeps coming. Lob for Jackson. All alone for three. In and out. Stays out. Balaguer fighting for the rebound. Harper able to take it away from her. Here's Eccles. Off for Usaa. Lopes scramble back defensively. Usaa now double teamed in the corner and throws it right into the lap of Nana Jackson. And Jackson will be fouled by Tholovalu. Tholovalu with a look of disbelief, but I'm not sure why. And that will mean free throws for Jackson at the GCU free throw line.
And we talked about how crucial these free throw attempts would be in this second half, Jim. They are more vital here right now, down by 3. Again, a minute and a half left to play in quarter number 3. But like you mentioned, each time the Lopes are fouled here moving forward, they are in the bonus, so they're going to have to knock down these shots. They've been way more effective so far here in these first 8.5 minutes than they were in that first half.
Total transformation, as a matter of fact, Jack. Jackson misses the first free throw, but in the first half they were 3 for 10. Before that free throw, they were 9 for 10 here in the third. And it's helped them battle their way back in this game. The Aggies led by 12 on several occasions in the second quarter. Next free throw, that's short. Rebound, Brown able to tip it to herself. Gives it in the corner. Rowell's three, though, is blocked. Goes out of bounds. One official said Aggie ball, and the accurate call out front changes that one. The Aggies saying we didn't touch it, but Rowell, especially as much prowess as she's shown from the three-point line, there's no way that would have been that errant without help. So Rowell will inbound on the right baseline. Looks, gets it for Tiara Brown. Out front, here's Tiana Brown. Brown eyeing Caldwell, who was cutting across the baseline. Now it's Rowell giving it to the cutting Pieta. Puts it up with the left hand, and it rolls around and somehow drops out. Tholovalu with the rebound. Here come the Aggies, still leading by 3, as once again the teams trading chances, but also trading missed opportunities. And Usaa out for Tholovalu. Low block, Harper. Turnaround, bank shot, no. Brown able to hold her ground. Caldwell with a rebound. Inside of a minute. Caldwell down the left side, slows it up. Waits for a Tiara Brown screen, goes away from it. Stop the dribble, out for Pieta. Pieta eyes the hoop. Across the lane for Tiana Brown, back for Pieta. Still 10 seconds to get a shot off. Pieta with the running one-hander won't go. Wanted a foul, didn't get it. Fast break the other way, turnover. Eccles and Grays not on the same page. Eccles throws it out of bounds. Seems like we've been stuck on 41-38 for quite a while, Jack.
Yeah, again, New Mexico State unable to take advantage of these scenarios offensively. Again, we mentioned it in the first quarter, the Aggies with a chance to run away with it, at least in the first half, letting the Lopes creep back in. And again, the Aggies just unable to come away with some golden opportunities here late in this one as well.
Lopes have the chance to go for the final shot. There's about a 1.5 seconds difference between the shot clock and the game clock. These two teams have gone scoreless for over 2.5 minutes. Caldwell just yo-yoing the ball out front, goes to the right side. Shot clock at 9, stops the dribble, has to get rid of it, gives it to Pieta with 5, now 4. She'll stop, step around the defender, and bury the jumper from 14 feet. Lotta Pieta with a big hoop, and that's the way the third quarter is going to end. GCU able to turn the tide, take only their second lead of the ball game, and after an Aggie run, the Lopes close out with 5 unanswered points, and we've got a 1-point game heading to the final quarter. End of 3 here at GCU Arena. We got a good one. Hope you'll stick around. New Mexico State 41, GCU 40 right here on GCU TV.
How can you describe Whataburger's honey barbecue chicken strip sandwich? The chicken just has a certain, with the sauce. The sauce, it gives you a little bit of... And the cheese, it's the exact right amount of... it's almost too hard to put into words. Good thing there's... Good thing there's the honey barbecue chicken strip sandwich at Whataburger.
When life seems uncertain, there's one credit union that provides both dollars and cents. Copper State Credit Union. With solutions that focus on our members, you can take advantage of competitive rates, free cashback checking, and local attentive service. Uplifting our community is a standard we live by. That's why thousands of your Arizona neighbors rely on us. Strengthening Arizona families through financial empowerment. That's Copper State Credit Union.
My favorite rap artist is Drake, but my favorite Christian band is Mercy Me. I like volleyball a lot. It's probably my favorite other sport. My favorite TV show would be The Office or Criminal Minds. Okay, my most used emoji is probably the laughing face, and I really like the one where he looks kind of sad, but it's a cute one. Food I could eat every day is Chinese food.
Remember, you could follow. Are you looking for the right place to help advance your education? Grand Canyon University has all the right tools and programs to help you find your purpose. For more information on what Grand Canyon University has to offer to enroll, visit gcu.edu.
Fourth quarter begins. Lopes with a basketball and a chance to take the lead. Rowell out for Tiara Brown. Fake the 3, start to drive, kick back out. Here's Rowell, ye of the 16 points. Now to Pieta. 8 on the shot clock. Drives inside. Scissor through the defenders. Give it to Tiana Brown for 3. No. Rebound tipped up in the air. Caldwell saves it to Pieta. Fresh shot clock, GCU. And it's been whoever has had the hustle points that has really made the runs in this game. Pieta and company need to keep that in mind as Pieta drives, puts it up off the glass and in. LP with 8 points. Lopes back in the lead. Now going for the steal is Caldwell, and she'll be held and fouled in the backcourt. Dee Eccles trying to avoid the easy lay-in, but what a play by TC.
Well, these were the two difference makers, TC and LP, last night, and we saw them with 3 personals early on in that first quarter, Jim, kind of silencing them in that first half where Tavia Rowell really had to step up for this Lopes offense. But right out of the get-go here in quarter number 4, the 2 playmakers back at it again, looking to give themselves some separation here from New Mexico State.
Third personal foul on Eccles. That could be big down the stretch. Non-shooting foul as Brown gets the inbound. Looks in for Scott. It's knocked away. All clean and a steal by the Aggies. Gray comes down, 2-on-2. She'll put it up. A blocking foul called. Shot didn't go. And that is personal foul number 4 on Taylor Caldwell. And Caldwell just beside herself as she looked up at the referee while she was flat on her back. Well, this is around the time last night that Taylor Grays started to come alive. Grays wound up leading him in scoring with 16 points, and 13 of those came in the second half and overtime. And her first free throw ties it. That's her first scoring of the evening. To break the tie, no. And Scott with a rebound. 42 apiece. Going to be another wild one here at the arena. Caldwell one-handing the ball. Now she'll start the dribble going. Comes around to Scott's screen, keeps coming, lob inside. There's Scott, and there's the score. The first field goal of the night for Katie Scott, and it comes some 31 minutes in.
Well, it's got to feel good if you're double threes right now. A definite confidence booster to put your team up by 2 late.
Aaliyah Prince has it blocked by Katie Scott. It's saved by Taylor Donaldson. Sneaking in is Terrell. She'll put it up over the outstretched arms of Scott and get the reverse lay-in. Tough break. The Lopes did everything right, but they couldn't get the loose ball. Pieta will drive. Pieta with the left hand. That one won't go. Brown sneaks in, gets the rebound, follows and scores. Tiara Brown, 46-44. And the Lopes getting hustle points at the moment. We played 2 minutes here in the fourth quarter. Prince takes it to the right side. Here's Taylor Grays. Ball fake, drive inside, gets it for Terrell, who was just housing herself on the baseline, and she'll score. 8 points off the bench for Deja Terrell. Knotted up again, this time at 46. 6th time we've been tied. Scott gets it across the time stripe for Tiara Brown, and now Pierre will run the point. Goes to the free throw line. Backwards pass to Brown. Throws it in the corner, almost threw it away. Caldwell able to save. Shot clock at 6, now 5. Caldwell to the baseline. Throws it for Pieta. Pieta will drive, and with 1 on the clock will put it up, but it doesn't draw iron, and that's a 30-second shot clock violation. And Jack, the Lopes simply had nothing going on that offensive set.
A nice job by the Aggies defense, able to isolate the Lopes there from any potential window to get a shot up late. You see again the look of disgust on the face of Laura Piera. Just a lot of frustration down there on the court as again this defense looks to step up here with some full court press.
Grays finally able to get it into Aaliyah Prince. Lopes get back defensively as we played 3 minutes here in the fourth, and we're all knotted up. Taylor Donaldson with the ball on the right side. Gets it off for Terrell. Terrell starting to back in, and she wasn't expecting the weak side defense. Came over from Tiara Brown, who ties her up. Possession arrow favors NMSU. So they will keep it in the front court. No reset on the shot clock as Kennedy Shorts comes in to give Tiara Brown a breather. And we came into this series with Tiara Brown being listed as questionable with that hamstring. Certainly has not shown any ill effects. Grays on the baseline, looking to inbound. Prince was alone underneath, didn't see her. Gets it for Usaa. She drives, crashes in. Offensive foul. Taking the charge, Nana Jackson. What a play. Usaa got up in the air with nowhere to go. And Jackson made her pay. Let's see if the Lopes can take advantage of it with a lineup of Scott, Rowell, Shorts, Jackson, and Pieta. Rowell in the corner for 3, won't go. Scott with the rebound, follows, no. It's blocked once, blocked twice, and a tie-up this time. Shot waved off. Possession arrow keeps it on this side of the floor. Give Terrell credit. She was standing on her feet, was not jumping, and was able to snuff Scott not once but twice. So Scott setting up to get the inbound, and the high lob goes to her. She'll throw it out for Jackson. Lopes have 13 seconds to get a shot off. Jackson fumbles, tries to get it back, and calls the timeout. We'll keep it here. 6:26 remaining. And Jackson, if nothing else, with the presence of mind, Jack, knowing she was going to get tied up and knowing that Molly Miller has not used any of her timeouts in the game until now.
A timely timeout right there for Coach Molly Miller. And a little deja vu here from last night, tie ball game here with about 6.5 minutes to go. And again, despite both teams having a lot of long runs in this game, like we mentioned, the Lopes going on a 19-4 run between quarters number 2 and 3. Neither team has been able to break away from each other to this point. And again, with 6.5 minutes left in this game, who's going to step up? We've seen Tavia Rowell step up from the remaining moments of half number 1, and then of course in quarter number 3 we've seen LP step up big time out of the get-go here in the fourth quarter. But who's going to step up? Katie Scott has been able to gain a little bit of confidence again, being able to get her own rebound there, but again, the foul call is not really going the Lopes' way throughout the duration of this one. So it'll be interesting to see how the Lopes strategize their offensive play heading after this timeout.
If nothing else, you can feel the level of desperation for GCU in trying to get Katie Scott involved in the offense. And it seems like for the first time in the 7.5 quarters we've seen, she does seem to be a little bit more in the flow, even if she's only 1 of 4 from the field.
And you got to talk about that confidence that she's been able to boost here in these past few minutes, and it'll be interesting to see how the Aggies defense reacts to that, because again, last night we saw Taylor Caldwell put up 19 points. They've been able to limit her to just 2 points so far here tonight, despite having limited playing time, of course, with those 4 personal fouls to this point. But again, Katie Scott, they've been able to attain her throughout the duration, like you said, the past 7.5 quarters. So it'll be interesting to see if she can break out now.
As you mentioned, neither team's been able to break away in this second half. The largest lead of the game was 12 points several times for the Aggies in the second quarter, but that seems like a long time ago. Neither team has led by more than 6 in the second half. Lopes with the basketball. We're tied at 46. Pieta inbounding underneath, does so to Scott in the corner. 8 on the shot clock. Lopes better look at it. Here's Jackson with 5, now with 4. Out to Rowell. Rowell, open look for 3. Rim around won't go. And Shorts did not have the inside position. Goes over the top, and that's personal foul number 4 on Kennedy Shorts, and she knew it. Each team now with 2 team fouls in the first 4 minutes. And Tiara Brown's going to check in. Katie Scott will leave. Kennedy Shorts will pressure the inbounds pass as Taylor Grays looks and waits. Better hurry. Lob for Eccles. Didn't get it in. 5-second call. Lopes basketball. I got to admit, Jack, that did seem like a quick 5 seconds, though.
Oh, 100%, Jim. And again, you could have questioned the refereeing throughout the duration this weekend in both games. Both sides kind of a bit frustrated, as you can see Coach Atkinson on the left side as well as Coach Miller on the left for the Lopes. And again, another golden opportunity here for the Lopes offense to take advantage.
Pieta with the lob in the corner for Scott. Out front, Shorts. They swing it around the horn for Nana Jackson. Nearing the 6-minute mark. Pieta, quick lob, gets to Scott, she'll score. And Pieta didn't wait any time to make sure that the Aggies couldn't get set. So Scott breaks the tie with only her second field goal of the night, both of them coming in this quarter. Is it Katie Scott time? 48-46. We near the midpoint of this fourth quarter. Fasten the seatbelts. It's going to be a wild one. Eccles fumbles, gets it back, puts it up, and that one will roll off. And Shorts all by her lonesome as the defensive rebound. Pieta comes down methodically down the left side. And Usaa with the defensive assignment on her. Comes around to Scott's screen. Kick for Rowell. Rowell will drive. Keeps coming. Has it stripped away. Gets it back. And it's knocked away on the second shot. But Terrell got part of the arm. And Rowell with a smile on her face heading back to the free throw line.
And this is where free throws become crucial, Jim, because again, up by 2 here with about 5.5 minutes left to go. These are the shots you want to hit to separate yourself from New Mexico State, given that you'll be going to the line a lot more here in these final 5 minutes and 23 seconds.
Terrell with a frustrated look on her face as she heads to the Aggie bench with 3 personal fouls. Rowell back to the line. The first free throw's good, and Tavia has been perfect. 5 for 5, and that has made that disease contagious. The contagious disease in the first half was the Lopes couldn't hit anything from the free throw line. It's been a different story in half number 2, and Rowell finally misses. But then it's saved. Sule on the baseline, but it goes straight to Rowell. So the Lopes with another chance. And inside a whistle, and I don't believe the shot clock was reset properly.
Threw it back in, that meant a change of possession. So 26.
So the lead official, Brad Schmidt, going to clarify with the scorer's table. And they will now put 26 seconds up for the Lopes. And Pieta will inbound it out front. Looking, waiting as Rowell comes out to get it. Pieta playing catch with Tavia Rowell out near the top of the key. Rowell starts to drive. Kick for Pieta. Open look for three, but it's short. Rowell has been the only one that's been able to find the range from three-point land, and she's 4 out of 9 doing it. The rest of the team 0 for 10. Tholavalu underneath, spins, triple teamed, out front, and Usaa alone, three-pointer no. Pieta with a rebound. And the Lopes doing a great job in this fourth quarter, limiting the Aggies to just one shot down the floor. Jackson outside the right arc, waits for a Scott screen. Stop and pop. That one won't go from 15. Scott gets the rebound. She'll put it up. That one won't go. Screaming for a foul, didn't get it. And now Sule, I believe, is going to be called for a travel or no. It's going to be a backcourt foul called on Katie Scott to add insult to injury. Foul is on Scott. Both teams now frustrated as they head to their respective benches. Timeout on the floor. 4:31 left to go in this thriller. Can GCU hang on? It's the Lopes 49, New Mexico State 46. Keep it here for more on GCU TV.
Joel Embiid is unhappy.
Like, really unhappy.
Because the internet keeps using not-so-amazing GIFs to react to his amazing highlights. Mountain Dew presents the Joel Embiid Deserves Better Reactions GIF Collection.
Now I'm so happy.
It was 49 apiece at the end of regulation a night ago. Now with 4:31 left to go in the second half of the doubleheader, the Lopes have 49, the Aggies have 46, and nobody in this building is comfortable, Jack O'Hara.
Yeah, and I think it's safe to say that this will not take 4 minutes and 31 seconds, and if it does, it's going to be the longest 4 minutes and 31 seconds of your life. But again, a lot to be proud of in this game if you're Coach Molly Miller, because again, the Lopes offense was not able to break out. Ice cold, you could say, after the end of the first quarter. Someone had to step up. We were begging for someone to step up, and Tavia Rowell answered the call. In just 22 minutes of action thus far, she's put up 17 points. She's 4 from 9 from downtown, and there is still a lot of basketball left to be played here with the Lopes only up by 3.
Lopes back off of the press. By the way, that last foul called originally on Katie Scott, they've changed it to Tiara Brown. That's only 2 on Brown, and that keeps Scott with just 1. And Usaa, waiting to get rid of it, does so to Tholavalu. Tholavalu drives to the right arc, has it poked away by Pieta. Gets it back. Here's Eccles. Eccles in the corner for Prince, driving on Scott. Give it out front. Shot by Usaa, rolls off. Scott has the rebound all to her lonesome. That's Katie's 7th. She and Brown leading the Lopes in that category. Under 4 minutes to go. Lopes could use a hoop here to make it a 2-possession game. Keep in mind, they've never led by more than 3 until now. The step over and the cross by Pieta. Pieta in double figures with 10. 51-46 GCU. Now they got to put the clamps down defensively. Prince driving through traffic. Takes it to the right side with the dribble. Brooke Atkinson screaming out instructions as the play happens in front of her bench. Prince double teamed. Tholavalu in the corner in Usaa. Low block Sule. Drives around Scott. Scott made her change the shot. Misses it. Scott with a rebound. Fantastic defense by the pride of Carroll Junction. Pieta into the forecourt around a Scott screen. Drive, stop in the paint, kick for Jackson. Jackson, she will fire a three. That's too hard. Rowell keeps it alive. Pokes it away from Eccles. Goes to Pieta. Reset the shot clock. Under 3 minutes. Lopes building on a 5-point lead. She'll drive, keeps coming. She'll put it up off the glass. She'll put it in, score it, count it, foul, send her to the free throw line, and the fans and the Lopes bench on their feet.
Well, you could tell, kind of quietly fired up there is Laura Piera, and again, two crucial two-point shots from Laura Piera, and she'll have one more attempt from the line after this timeout, but a huge play in this game, probably the biggest play in this game to this point, as the Lopes have finally been able to separate themselves from New Mexico State, up by 7.
That is the 14th foul on New Mexico State. The foul is on Tholovalu. That's her third. I will give credit to Brooke Atkinson. She has been able to balance the foul trouble well. Eccles, Prince, Tholovalu, and Terrell, each with 3. No one with more than 3. And also give Molly Miller credit, because Taylor Caldwell and Lana Pieta have been in foul trouble since the first half. Caldwell has 4, Shorts has 4. Pieta has not added to her 3-foul total in this half. So the two teams break their huddles with 2:42 left. Largest lead of the game, largest lead of the weekend for GCU. And Pieta with a chance to get the and one and add to it. Keep in mind, New Mexico State has now gone over 5 minutes without a point. The free throw is good. 54-46. And now it's becoming desperation time for New Mexico State, as time is not on their side. Prince on the baseline. She's bumped, gets it inside, but the shot not good by Harper. Prince able to come back in and get the offensive board. Second attempt, one of the few they've had in this quarter. Eccles for 3, that's short. And those shots that were falling automatically for her, not going now. Pieta with a rebound. Jackson will slow it up. The Lopes can afford to use some clock with 2:10 left. They need a good shot here. Pieta from 14 short. And the rebound will trickle out of bounds. Last touch by the Aggies. And credit Kennedy Shorts for just hanging around, as Harper and Eccles not on the same page underneath. Shorts checks out. Scott checks in. Pieta will inbound it on the baseline. Fresh 20 on the shot clock. And Brooke Atkinson screaming from the opposite side of the floor, I need a timeout. It's a 30-second timeout, so we will keep it here. 2 minutes, 4 seconds remaining. And the Lopes continuing to build on this lead. And who'd have thunk, going down the stretch, that it would be the Aggies who would go this cold. They've now gone some 5 minutes and 43 seconds and been stuck on 46.
Well, what goes around comes around is what they say, and we've been begging for some team to separate themselves late in this game. We said it was going to be a crucial time period for both of these teams when they were tied at 46 apiece to step up and separate themselves, and that's exactly what the Lopes have done on this 8-0 run in the last 4 minutes.
And remember that in the overtime session, i.e. the last 4.5 minutes of play last night, it was the Lopes who were cold and New Mexico State with a 10-0 run. Now those tables turned into Scott. Shot won't go. Katie gets her own rebound, follows and scores. Katie Scott, and it's a 10-point game. We're under 2 minutes. Aggies don't need to start going for threes yet, but Eccles drives in and has her pass intercepted. Jackson with the steal, and let's see when Brooke Atkinson starts saying we got a foul. It's not happening yet as Scott continues to drive, forces up the shot, won't go, but she's bumped and fouled by Shania Harper, and that will put New Mexico State over the team foul limit with a $1:38 left. So Katie Scott, who is 2 for 4 free throw shooting this evening, with her first free throws of the fourth quarter, and these are huge. Talk about hearing a pin drop as the Havocs and everybody else in this building went quiet so that Scott could concentrate and did it effectively. First free throw good. Neither Jack or I wanted to talk either.
Yeah,
we didn't want to break it.
What's the proper etiquette there, Jim?
That's exactly right. 58-46, Scott makes them both. And somehow, some way, Katie Scott found a way to get into double figures. She's got 10. Now it's desperation time for New Mexico State. Eccles inching down the right side. Jackson not giving her any room. Eccles driving on Shorts. Keeps coming. Force up the shot. Put it up and put it in. That's the last thing Molly Miller wanted to see. Eccles will head to the line for the and one, and Kennedy Shorts' night has come to an end. She fouls out with 1:28 left. So Shorts fouls out. Katie Scott will come back in. That would have happened anyway. But Shorts has given them some great minutes here in the second half, especially on defense. The free throw by Eccles is good. Dede, the only one for New Mexico State in double figures. She has 21. Caldwell trying to dribble away from the double team. Gives her space and gives it to Scott. Here's Tiara Brown, and now they can eat some clock. 18 on the shot clock, 1:14 in the game. Caldwell being pressured by Prince. She drives away from the Scott screen, kick in the corner. Pieta for the dagger, but the three-pointer won't go. Rebound belongs to Jade Bradley. Lead pass, Terrell is out in front of the pack, and she will lay it up and in. Lopes have to protect the basketball. We're inside of a minute. The lead is down to 7. Here's Jackson to Scott. Scott will drive. Has it knocked away, but a whistle and a foul, and Terrell in disbelief picks up her 4th. And in a lot of ways, Jack, that was kind of a bailout because I think Molly Miller would have liked for them to use more clock.
And again, down by 7, I think you're right, Jim, as the Aggies defense starting to play things in a little bit more of a smart manner here, especially with Katie Scott starting to heat up here offensively.
Remember, this is a very young Lopes squad because even with the experience of people like Lauda Pieta and, for that matter, the grad student Nana Jackson, they have not played together a lot. And these are the situations that Molly Miller is going to use as teaching tools. But first things first, they want to get out of here with a W. And Scott, with ice in her veins, buries them both. 4 for 4 from the line in the quarter. Back to a 9-point edge. Eccles around a screen. Can't find room. Gets rid of it. Out front is Bradley. Back to Eccles. Kick in the corner. Usaa out for Bradley. Passes up an open look. 10 on the shot clock. In the baseline. Forces up the shot. It doesn't go. Both she and Jackson on the floor. And Nana Jackson's going to be whistled for the personal foul. That's one of those that could have gone either way.
It's an interesting decision there by Bradley as well. Given that there's only 25 seconds now left on the clock. Down by 9. Wasted a lot of time there offensively.
She had a wide open look at the top of the key from three-point range, just decided that that's not her shot. She has to have these free throws, and the first one is off the mark. Well, these two teams have split the season series in each of the last 3 years, and it looks as though, barring a miracle comeback, that the Lopes are going to salvage a split here. 1 of 2 free throws good by Bradley. Timeout on the floor, 25.4 seconds remaining. We will keep it here. And Jack, I think this is probably a perfect time to go back and take a look at your Sanderson Ford 3 keys to the game.
Well, I think it's safe to say that the Lopes have done a great job adapting to what they weren't able to do here last night. Again, an ice-cold start offensively, but they've been able to make up for it. We've mentioned the likes of Tavia Rowell stepping up, especially from downtown, and in the later stages of this game, Laura Piera coming out of the gate strong after picking up 3 personal fouls. early on in that game, kind of handcuffing her at the end of that first half. And of course, like we've said with the Beatles reference, there'd be days like these. Katie Scott once again just unable to combat this defense from the Aggies. The Aggies doing an incredible job all weekend long, attaining the juggernaut that usually is Katie Scott, but she's come on strong late, a couple of key defensive plays, a couple of key rebounds as well, setting up this offense splendidly, and of course converting to the press, Jim. We've been saying it all night long, has worked wonders for this Lopes defense, setting up the offense with plenty of opportunities, and it's been a stalemate with this offense up by 8 to this point with just 25 seconds left. And with all of the struggles that Katie Scott has had offensively, she is 1 rebound away from a double-double. 12 points, 9 boards. Lauda Pieta will inbound as Rao comes to get it, and it's knocked away, but Scott is able to grab it, and now she's fouled. Aggies had what they wanted. They had the loose ball, but Scott able to grab it and hold on. And Deja Terrell is fouled out of the ball game, so each team now with a disqualification. Shorts on the Lopes end, and Terrell will foul out with 21.8 seconds to go. Scott back to the line. 2 free throws makes it almost insurmountable because it'll be a 4-possession game. Pin drop, as does the free throw. Scott makes the first. I feel like we're at a golf tournament. Everyone's quiet, including us. Not good. Still a 9-point lead. And Brooke Atkinson is going to burn her second to last timeout. 21.3 seconds remaining. 9-point game. The largest leads of the game, 12 for both teams. The difference, New Mexico State's 12-point lead came in the second quarter. The Lopes' 12-point lead came just a couple of minutes ago because they were able to hold New Mexico State nearly 6 minutes without a point, and there's your difference if the Lopes are able to hang on. Yeah, the GCU's defense, easily the biggest X factor, at least in this second half, Jim, because like you were alluding to, the Lopes defense, again, a stalemate for this New Mexico State offense, just unable to come back after the Lopes were able to, again, separate themselves from New Mexico State, whereas New Mexico State, when they were up by 12, their defense just unable to combat this Lopes offense with the comeback. The Tavia Rowells and the Laura Pierras stepping up like they did. So this defense, again, with 21 seconds remaining, it's going to be a lot for New Mexico State's offense in order to come back in this one. They're going to have to hit every shot that they have on every possession moving forward.
And one of those forgotten X factors, Jack, that at the time New Mexico State had their last 12-point lead, they were up, had the momentum. The Lopes closed out the half on a 7-0 run. Then New Mexico State, after GCU comes out firing in the third quarter, is able to battle back, take a 6-point lead, and the Lopes close out the third quarter on a 5-0 run. That can't be discounted. Now the pass thrown away. Jackson just falls on it, waits to be fouled, and with 19.2 seconds to go, it looks as though the Lopes may have this one tucked away in their wallets as Jackson calls a timeout.
And luckily for this Lopes offense, now you get a ton of free throw attempts, a little bit of practice here in these final 19 seconds.
And they needed it in that first half, that's for sure. But what a difference a half has made, especially in free throw shooting. Want to remind you that at least for the moment, the next set of games for Molly Miller's team are going to be in 3 weeks, thanks to all of the suspended seasons and cancellations due to COVID. The next scheduled doubleheader will be Friday and Saturday, February 5th and 6th. 6 p.m. tip-offs here at GCU Arena against UTRGV. And as we mentioned earlier, that will actually start a 4-game homestand because just 3 days later, Tuesday and Wednesday, February 9th and 10th, they will host Tarleton in the makeup of the doubleheader that was postponed last weekend here at GCU Arena. And the Lopes are just playing keep away. It looks like the Aggies are not going to foul. Caldwell just holding on to it. 6 seconds, 5 seconds, and the Lopes have survived. And a big fourth quarter, which had been their bailiwick throughout the first 9 games, winds up making the difference here as the Lopes outscore New Mexico State 21-11 in the final 10 minutes, and they salvage a huge split of the season series, the 4th straight year that's happened, and the Lopes can celebrate and also exhale, Jack, as they win it 61-52, and you see them applauding the home fans, and the home fans and the 6th man were as much a part of this comeback as the 5 on the floor.
Well, the Lopes offense definitely has a lot to work on this week in practice, but again, they will be able to celebrate this one. Stealing this win away from the Aggies did not look good early on, like we mentioned. Almost a historically bad first quarter offensively for the Lopes. Ice cold from the field, just really couldn't get anything going their way. They had a ton of open shots as well, and again, just weren't able to get any of those friendly rolls. And again, Laura Piera, bam, out with 3 personals right out of the get-go. Taylor Caldwell, bam, 3 personals right out of the get-go. Coach Molly Miller having to turn to her bench, and of course, like we've mentioned all night long, Tavia Rowell, the X-factor offensively for the Lopes, coming out of the gate strong, finishing with 17 points, and again, with a 9-point victory tonight over New Mexico State. Like you said, you can exhale after, again, starting out so poorly.
Perfect setup to get to our Copper State Credit Union player of the game, and we had more than a couple of possible recipients. A big 4th quarter for Laura Piera, 7 of her 13 points in that 4th quarter. Katie Scott, we've been starting to call her 4th quarter Katie until yesterday. Well, she certainly made up for it. Didn't have a field goal in the first 3 quarters, but she's able to come away with 11 of her 13 points in that final 10 minutes, comes up with 9 rebounds. But when we look towards who the player of the game is, Jack, we got to talk about the one that really sparked them in those middle 2 quarters.
Well, Tavia Rowell wasn't even in the minds of New Mexico State and Coach Atkinson going into this game. Of course, you look at Laura Piera and Taylor Caldwell. Of course, Taylor Caldwell with 19 points 24 hours ago, one night ago, was taken out pretty quickly by this New Mexico State defense. And of course, Tavia Rowell stepping up in a big way when no one else would in that second quarter. It was the Didi show for New Mexico State in that second quarter, as everybody knows, but Tavia Rowell able to make it a 5-point deficit heading into quarter number 3, and the Lopes were able to slowly but surely prevail, going on a huge run late in the second half to that 9-point victory. Again, Tavia Rowell, 17 points, 4 rebounds, 4 from 9 from long distance. You got to give it credit to where credit's due to Tavia Rowell.
And you also have to tag onto that she was 5 for 6 from the free throw line and really was able to set the tone when the Lopes were struggling from the free throw line in that first half. She comes in, and when she's sent to the line in the 3rd quarter, she responds, making 4 straight, hits 4 out of 9 3-pointers, as you mentioned, and she did all of that in just 25 minutes of play. So a big game for the sophomore. And Tavia Rowell, our Copper State Credit Union player of the game. It's brought to you, as always, by Copper State Credit Union, founded on the principle of people helping people. So the men's team winds up sweeping Bethesda this weekend here on this floor. The Lopes women's basketball team now moved to 9-2 as they are able to salvage a split. And now we take a look at our post-game stats, and they are a whole lot more appetizing to look at, Jack, than we did at halftime.
Totally different world in the second half for both squads. Again, 42% from the field for New Mexico State, 32% for the Lopes. And of course, that 3-point shot, we mentioned Tavia Rowell as well as Nana Jackson stepping up late in that second half. And of course, the Lopes 37 rebounds to New Mexico State's 39. The big difference in this one, the Lopes able to capitalize on some of those offensive mistakes that New Mexico State had later in the game, prevailing to their 9-point win.
26 turnovers for New Mexico State. Yes, that's big, but Molly Miller's also going to look at the fact that she had 10 turnovers at halftime, and the Lopes were able to really clamp down and cut down on their own miscues, and that was what led to the lack of opportunities for New Mexico State in the second half.
And again, just 15 turnovers to the 26, like you mentioned, but like you said, the Lopes able to capitalize on all of their opportunities while New Mexico State let theirs slither away.
And you look at that free throw stat. Remember, the Lopes missed 7 out of 10 free throw attempts in the first half, but in the second half, they were 16 for 21, and Katie Scott Tavia Rowell and Lotta Pieta making the shots down the stretch when they needed them. And of course, our stats brought to you as always by Copper State Credit Union, with 8 branches across Arizona, including their own on-campus branch here at GCU. So now, for the moment, the Lopes have 3 weeks off, and then they will have 4 home games in the span of a week, starting with UTRGV February 5th and 6th, and then Tarleton, the makeup of the postponed doubleheader from last weekend, on February 9th and 10th. But I'm sure Molly Miller is hoping that she can try and insert any game she can. And if this was a normal year, Jack, you would look at it and say mid-January, there's nobody that's going to be available. With the way the schedules have gone with the pandemic, there's a lot of people available.
It's definitely been a struggle. Again, the Lopes' last games being played against Park January 3rd before this weekend. That is a lot of time off for not just the Lopes, but for everybody involved in the Western Athletic Conference play. So it should be interesting to see how they rebound, having their next game just 2 weekends again now against UTRGV.
Well, we want to thank our great crew as always: Hunko Funsale, Andrew Rangel, Robert Purcell, Matthew Fajardo, and then producing Marley Thompson, and the one at the switches directing tonight, Travis Fleming. Thank you all so much for bringing the sights and sounds. And of course, thanks to my partner in crime, Jack O'Hara, for another great bout of commentary. And so until we talk to you 3 weeks from last night, that being February 5th, UTRGV coming to town, this is Jim Howell reminding you that you can follow Grand Canyon University on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. And don't forget to download the Lope Nation app so you can watch all of our live streams from your mobile device, or subscribe to our YouTube channel. That's youtube.com/GCU. Jim Howell reminding you the final score once again here from GCU Arena, and a jam-packed weekend in a big fourth quarter rally. The GCU Lopes 61 and the New Mexico State Aggies 52. Good night, everybody, and go Lopes.